Good morning, my beautiful students. Just remember that you were placed on this earth for a wonderful reason, so make sure you find out what that is. And right behind me, we're going to go over Chapter 3, Lesson 3, and it's two-step inequalities. All right, I have some notes right behind me. I'm going to step off the screen for just a second. Make sure you copy it down, and more importantly, make sure that you listen to my explanation, because if you don't get those two practice problems done at the end of this lesson, you'll be watching me again. All right, so you had, I stepped off the screen, you had a time to write those down, so let's go over this real quick. All right, real quick refresher, you already know this because you guys are so smart, is if you see a number next to a letter like 2y, that means that's multiplication. If you see a plus sign between them, that's addition. If you see a variable and you see something underneath it, that's division. And if you see a minus sign or it looks like a negative sign, but it's between the number and the letter, that's actually subtraction. So, and you have to use their opposite functions, right? To get rid of him, you're going to have to divide. To get rid of that 9, you minus. To get rid of that negative 7, you're going to multiply. And to get rid of that minus 10, you're going to go plus 10. Now, the other most important fact is right behind me, is with inequalities, if you divide, so this only works with division and multiplication, only those two. If you divide or times with a negative, okay, so a negative number, you must flip or turn around that inequality sign. So remember that I'm going to put a star next to all the problems that have that feature, but you're going to need to train your eye to know when able to do that. So I'm going to pause the video right now and put our first two examples on the board. All right, so while I'm talking right now, hit pause and copy down those two examples. And do that. Actually, do it right now. All right, so you should have this copied down. This is 8x plus 2, that's less than or equal to, and that's a negative 46. So again, solving two-step equations, we're going to get rid of that plus 2 first. So we're going to go minus 2. We do that to both sides. There's my t. Drop down the 8x. I can drop down my less than or equal to sign. It's pointing to that way. And then negative 46 and a negative 2 make a negative 48. So make sure you type that into the calculator, right? And then I'm going to take a look. I have an 8 times x, right? So I'm going to divide by 8, and I'm going to keep my eye out. Is the 8 is positive, so I'm actually dividing by a positive number, no switching the inequality sign. So I'm dividing by a positive 8, dividing by a positive 8, okay? And that's why there's no switching. So those cross out. Here's my x. Negative 48 divided by 8 is negative 6. But it doesn't matter if this is positive or negative. The only thing that causes this to turn around is if you divide with a negative. But we did not, so it stays less than. All right, so nice and easy. No switching of the inequality sign. So now let's look at number 2, slightly different. It looks like we have addition and we have division, right? So we have a 3 plus x divided by 9 is less than 4. Get rid of the plus and minus. So I'm going to go minus the 3. And remember, minusing 3 does not change the inequality sign. So that stays less than. The x being divided by 9 falls down. And then 4 plus negative 3 is positive 1. And then again, this is division. It's right, over my right shoulder where it says x over negative 7. That's divide, remember. So this is division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to go times 9 times 9. The others cross out. That's not a negative 9, so there's no switching. And that becomes x is less than 9. So make sure you have example 2 all the way down. I'll back up for just a second so you can copy now number 1 also. All right, so I'm back. Here's 2 more examples. We have negative 2r minus 2 is less than or equal to negative 4. And then example number 4 is negative 11 minus 4 is greater than negative 14. I'm going to just step over underneath the refresher, and you copy down those two equations. All right, so here we go. Now, I made all these numbers negative for a reason, and that should kind of send up a red flag. So we have a negative 2r and a minus 2, because that's being multiplied. So I'm going to get rid of my minus 2, not my negative 2 multiplying. So I go plus 2, plus 2. Remember, I'm adding, so that does not affect my inequality sign. So negative 4 plus a 2 is a negative 2. This negative 2r falls down, and hello, watch out, that's a negative 2r. So let's put our little mark there. Because what am I going to do? I'm dividing. And what am I dividing by? A negative number. It's basically only when you see a negative number down here that you're going to end up flipping that sign around. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is actually a positive 1. Make sure you use your calculators to get these right. These two cancel out and the r falls down. But because we divided with a negative number, not minus, we have to turn around. So it went from a less than to a greater than. Okay? Even though our answer ended up being positive, it had everything to do about what you were dividing by. So make sure you hit pause right now if you need to, but copy number 3. All right, number 4. So again, same type of setup. We have a negative 11 timesing the x, so that's going to be a problem, minus, that's not a problem, 4, is greater than negative 15, not a problem. So again, first step, get rid of any plus or minus. So I'm going to get rid of that minus 4. Still remains greater than. That falls down. This will make a negative 11. My negative 11 falls down over here. And then again, take a look. That's a negative on the x term. So we're going to be doing some switching. Because again, what are we going to be doing? I'm dividing. And what am I dividing with? A negative number. I cannot stress that enough. When you divide with a negative, that's going to be x. Type that in your calculator. It's going to be almost the exact same answer as the other one. But that was a greater than symbol. It turns around and becomes less than, right? So that's a very important fact to watch out for negative x terms, right? So if you need a little bit more time, I'll step out of the way. When I do, pause it, copy these down. All right, so here is example 5. As soon as I read it off, hit pause and then copy it down. So it says negative 3, and then it has parentheses. Oh no, parentheses. Don't worry about it. So inside the parentheses is r minus 4, and then that's greater than or equal to 0. So hit pause right now if you need to, and copy down number 3. All right, so now that it's copied down, remember, if you ever see parentheses, that's step 1. You get rid of it. Want no parentheses. Alright, so step 1, no parentheses. So how do we get rid of them? Remember, parentheses is times. I'll put that right here, times. So, there we go. Negative 3, that's what that is. It's not a minus 3, it's a negative 3. I'm going to go negative 3 times a letter of the alphabet. Just means put them together. So, negative 3r. See how easy that was? That's easier than what we're going to do next. In your calculator, that looks like a minus 4. So in your calculator, type in negative 4. So go negative 3 times negative 4. Your calculator will give you a plain 12. Because it's a plain 12, that means it's positive, put a plus sign. Put back your greater than or equal to sign and the 0, right? So remember, the arrows mean multiplication. Now, we got rid of the parentheses. Step 2 is add or subtract. So we have a plus 12, so we're going to be actually subtracting. So there's my minus 12, okay? The sign stays exactly the same. 0 plus negative 12 is negative 12. These cross out, and that negative 3r falls down. But again, warning, I think negative 3r. So what do I have to do? My last step is divide. And what am I dividing by? That's right. I'm dividing by a negative number. And then I should sound like an old record, if you know what that is. So we put the r falls down. Negative 12 divided by a negative 3 happens to be a positive 4. But because I divided with a negative number, I take my greater than or equal to, flip it around into a less than or equal to. So make sure that you have this copied down. We'll have one more example with parentheses. All right, so here's number 6. Look, I left up the old instructions because basically we're going to do exactly the same thing that you did with number 5. So this reads, negative 90 is greater than or equal to negative 5, then parentheses k minus 3. So if you need to, pause it right now and copy down there. Okay, so that's done. So remember, get rid of parentheses, that's multiplication. So step 1, negative 5 times k, just put them together. Negative 5k. In the calculator, type in negative 5. It looks like a minus sign again, so make that a negative 3. The calculator will give you a positive 15. No changing of the sign, and the negative 90 falls down. Step 2 stays the same. Get rid of that adding or subtracting. Well, I got a positive 15, so we're going to go minus. So minus 15 minus the 15. Remember, I always stay on the side where the variable is, okay? Because this one's written backwards, but that's okay. The negative 5k falls down. 90 plus the negative 15 actually adds up to a negative 105. My inequality sign still stays the same. And then, boom, boom. Dividing with a negative. So, those cancel out, leaving you the k. You use your calculator, negative 105 divided by negative 5 will give you a positive 21. But because you divided with a negative, flip that greater than or equal to a less than or equal to. All right? So make sure that you have this copied down. I'm going to put your 2 practice problems on that you have to solve before getting the worksheet. And if you can't get them, you have to rewatch this video again. All right, here are your 2 practice problems. The practice one says 1 plus m is all being divided by 9 is greater than 1. I did one of these at the earlier part of the lesson, so rewatch it if you need to. And then this says 60 is greater than 5 minus 5n. And the other hand is one of these has a negative. Well, you're going to have to be flipping, but I ain't telling you which one. So make sure that you get these copied down, show all your work, and always have a math-tastic day.